Hello and a very warm welcome to Canada for round 6 of the 2014 UF1R World Championship. Going into this race, Edster leads Sammy by 3 points with Roy only 2 further behind. Despite crashing out the last race, Skoda has been given points for finishing 90% distance. In the constructors, Marussia have a gap over Williams and McLaren. After another extremely close qualifying session, Roy takes pole, with Ed and Sammy less than a tenth behind. Whatman, surprise 4th. He just edged out Skoda, who's once again up there in 5th. Chris, much better qualifying in 6th. Mogius is 7th, ahead of Justin in 8th. Just behind Justin in 9th place is Stephen. Exam sadly couldn't make this race. Karst out-qualifying Diablo, a very tense Force India Ferrari battle going on at the moment in the constructors. Cyrus set a very good time to out-qualify the Reno. Then Blue Scene, still in hospital as I mentioned in the last video, but out-qualifying Doof Doof, and hopefully he is on the mend. So fingers crossed we'll see him at the next round in Greece. But right now we got to worry about the here and now, and this race is about to start. So close in the championship at the moment, none of them can afford to jump the start. Here we go at Mosport Park.
Go, go, go.
Great reaction by Roy, but it was Sammy and Whatman who got the best launches off the line. And Edster has been mugged down to 3rd, and it could become 4th as Whatman is attacking him. And Whatman swipes across, but Edster dives down into turn 2 and he takes Sammy. And now he's re-challenging Roy for the lead a little bit. As Sammy has to defend a little bit from Whatman. 2 Belgians scrapping it out for 3rd place. And they're both closing on Edster as they try and dive past him. Who gets the best run into the tight right-hander? It looks like Sammy does. So very aggressive by all of them in this opening lap. Roy is leading, Sammy is 2nd, Edster 3rd, Whatman 4th, Skoda 5th. And now Edster re-challenging Sammy. Well, that was a little too optimistic. So further down the field we're watching Stephen is about to be taken by Diablo and Karst. Well, Mogius has got in front of Skoda. So Mogi is up to 5th place. As we move into lap 2. Tries pushing hard and Sammy pushes a little too hard and he goes up in the air. Has to immediately defend and Edster gets ahead. Cyrus is punching well above his weight in that caterer, but Nitro's starting to challenge. Oh, he hit the wall there. Very odd place to make a mistake as Whatman takes Sammy. And it seems that Nitrous is retired. Oh, it's Diablo attacks Cyrus. So Nitrous is retired. So, I don't know, I would have thought he'd been able to carry on. That's a little strange. Oh, Sammy retakes Whatman. Whatman surprising everyone on what's only his 3rd appearance driving against this team. And he retakes Sammy. And Cyrus holding up a train of cars. Surely it's only a matter of time as Justin takes Stephen. We're riding on board with Justin. It's Diablo and Cyrus ahead of us. And you can just see he's starting to size up the situation. And he dives underneath both of them. Great move. Very important that he's cleared Cyrus out of the way. Oh, Cyrus has to give way to the Ferrari now. And now he's going to be passed by Karst, Stephen and the Reno. And now the Reno trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari. Not quite. Oh, but Karst seems to be having a few problems here. That's going to let Loreno take 10th place. Loreno challenging Stephen again. Oh, but he goes a bit wide. That lets Karst back through. And Karst, in fact, had a very decent run out of that final corner. He's going to try to get past Stephen. He's got to try and keep that momentum through the corner. Oh, but Stephen's slightly stronger there. And now he's attacking Diablo. Oh, I believe it's going to be a pretty easy pass on his teammate. And he's going to go after Justin. There's Loreno and Karst still dueling away. Remember these two fighting away with Grant, who is not here today for Mercedes, and Diablo for the Pool C Championship. He's going into the last corner, but Karst seems once again to have the edge. It looks like one of the Ferraris has made a mistake. It's Diablo. And Karst sweeps past, but Diablo cuts back down the inside, and now Loreno is trying to overtake Karst. So these 3 Pool C drivers battling quite desperately with each other. Karst tries to get on the inside, but doesn't quite work out for him. They're all over the back of one another. And Diablo really struggling at the moment, dramatically dropping off the pace of his teammate Stephen on this lap. As Loreno tries to dive through, thinks better of it, perhaps he's going to try the hairpin as Diablo goes deep and Loreno goes through. Back to the leaders, Roy, Ed, then Sammy. Oh, did Ed hit the last corner? He did. Sammy goes through into 2nd place. Oh, it looks like Diablo went very wide there. Karst goes through and Diablo's down to 11th. Right at the front trying to create a gap. Oh, I think he hit the corner there. There's Sammy. He's going to go through. So all the top 3 seem to have made mistakes. Looks like it's going to be a very close contest for the race win. View from the back of Roy as we can see Edster trying to close in on him. Oh! A little bit of a bunny hop there. I think that's going to prove to be a dangerous corner as this race goes on. This is the view from Doof Doof as he sees Sammy, his teammate, and Roy power through. And I think there's Edster powering through now. And Roy really starting to pressure Sammy now. But he's on the outside as they go into the first corner. Can he carry a bit more speed through it? It's neck and neck, and I believe Roy and the Williams is slightly ahead at the moment, but Sammy will not concede that easily. He's back through again as they go for that long right-hander that seems never to end, and Sammy didn't get the best run out of it. Roy's going to inch ahead, but Sammy dives back underneath, all three of them right close together on the circuit. And Sammy right on the wall there, but he got away with it. Oh, but Justin will not get away with that one. That's going to lose him chunks of time, and here comes Stephen powering through. And Justin will be kicking himself. Back to the two leaders now. He seemed to have dropped Edster slightly. Ooh, Sammy was a little slower than Roy coming out of the hairpin this time. So the lead changes once again. But how long can Roy hold on? Because Sammy is fighting back almost immediately. It looks like he's maintained the place as they go into the final corner. Oh no, he just tagged it there. Sammy attacking again as they go into the long right-hander. But Roy gets a better drive out of it. Very important race for Roy. He hasn't won any so far this year. Can he change that here? Sammy doing everything possible to get his 5th win of the season at the moment, but Roy's starting to pull away. Oh, mistake from Roy. And Sammy is going to claw back the gap between him and Roy's rear wing. You can see Edster, that tiny speck on the horizon. He's just in reach of these guys, but Sammy's much more in reach right now. Going into the last corner. Oh, not quite. Roy's responding to a lot of pressure from Sammy. This is an excellent performance from a man who just turned 42 a few days before this race. But perhaps Sammy finally has an answer because he's all over the rear wing of this car now. Going into the fast swooping curve at the end of the track. Sammy dives down the inside. Brilliant move to get in front of Roy there. But Roy's carried a little bit more speed through the very last corner. Going into turn 1, dives down the inside. But Sammy covered it off, and this incredibly absorbing battle continues further. They're matching each other blow for blow at the moment. What's going to happen into the tight right-hander? Sammy gone a little wide. Oh, he hit the wall there. Back to Justin, still trying to get past Stephen. Oh, a little too aggressive on the throttle there. Here we go, the next lap. Justin has another go, but he's a little too cautious this time. And the Brit in the Ferrari holds off the Australian in the Force India. Oh, and Stephen very cautious. Justin gets ahead and stays ahead. Nice move. And Sammy completely relentless. He will not give up his pursuit of the lead. They're going down one of the many long back straights that this circuit has to offer, where you may take time to observe the scenery. Meanwhile, Sammy tries to make a move for the lead, but Roy covers it off. Ooh, that was a bit hairy for Roy there. And I don't think it's over yet, because here comes Sammy, tries to dive down the inside. Who's going to risk more? Oh, looks like Roy just holds on. That's Doof Doof, and oh, slightly second-hand Marussia. Oh, and he's going into the pit, so they must be running low on fuel. Doof Doof's first to pit, and he's going for pit bay 3, so that's interesting. So the two leaders just went past. Oh, and there's Edster. First of the front runners to pit, and he's also going for pit bay 3. I think he may be trying to one-stop this race. Karst and Watman now going in, but they're going for pit bay 1, so they're perhaps trying to two-stop. Here's Modulus. He was just behind Watman. But it looks like he's going for pit bay 3. So maybe trying to do one stop less. We'll see if he can get in front of Watman. Anyway, Watman and the Karst re-emerging now. Cyrus going for pit bay 2. Stephen in pit bay 1. It's all action here right now. As Justin going for pit bay 3. And Edster leaving just as Sammy and Roy are entering. So if Edster has a good outlap, can he catch up to Roy and Sammy? That remains to be seen. Who's coming in now? It looks like it's Lorino followed by Diablo. Lotus also trying to go for a one-stop, but Ferrari going for a two-stop for both of their drivers. Oh, and here comes Skoda. What pit bay is he going to choose? Oh no, he's not going to choose any yet because he's sped in the pit lane. That's a 30-second penalty for him, so he won't be able to move for 30 seconds on top of the pit stop. And that's a bad mistake for Skoda as Diablo gets in front of Justin. But Justin looks like he's making his escape from the pits a little better than Diablo. He gets out in front. So Skoda almost definitely going to be the big loser in all this. He's going to lose 6th place. It remains to be seen where he'll emerge. He'll probably be in front of Cyrus and Doof Doof, almost certainly. Here are the leaders. Roy, followed by Sammy, and Edster in the background. So it looks like he has just about kept in touch with them. They've barely left the pits, and Sammy already sizing up Roy. Sammy well aware that time waits for no man, least of all racing drivers. The Williams and Marussia side by side on the straight, but Sammy just having the edge at the moment. Can Roy do anything about that as they approach the hairpin? There's Sammy's teammate ahead. Sammy goes a little wide, but just about manages to hold on. Awe-inspiring to see the confidence both of these drivers have, especially making their way through traffic like Doof Doof. So it looks like Sammy's going to lead the end of the lap, or is he? Because Roy's kept it flat at the last corner. So Roy maintains the lead. Skoda exiting the pits now, down in 10th, I'm afraid. So the BTS driver has, to put it lightly, a lot of ground to make up. Here is the battle for 8th, and Karst is already caught up and past Diablo. Oh, not quite. Polish driver Karst putting in a feisty drive in an attempt to make up for the disappointing disconnections of the past couple of races for him. But it seems to be going well so far. And you go long distance at Watman, who's a few laps ahead of these guys, seems to have made a mistake as Karst tries to go down the inside. And that move may just have got him up into 8th place. Very opportunistic driving by the Force India driver. Oh, but can Diablo respond at all? Oh, was given half a chance there, but not quite. We've rejoined the leaders. Oh, and Sammy gets a little too greedy at the last corner and hits it. That's going to really hurt him as Edster flies by. The McLaren driver now back in 2nd place. And Sammy naturally is going to fight back with all he's got. Oh, both drivers lift the front wheels, but Sammy comes off worse. So that will give Edster some breathing space. Oh, and I think Roy tagged the wall as well there. So small mistakes from Sammy and Roy, giving Edster the opportunity, and he takes the lead. Now the question is now, does he have the raw pace to stay there as Roy immediately attacks, but goes wide at the last corner. Edster covers it off. The race seems suddenly to have taken a new twist as we have a new leader. Oh, Roy attacking him. This camera is on the back of Watman's car as they lap the Caterham. Roy going really aggressive at this point, but Edster able to respond a bit. So he is held on by the skin of his teeth. Speaking of teeth, Roy is sharpening his. He's not given up yet at all. And now it looks like he's going to go for it. Trying to dive through, but Edster tries to undercut him. Whoa, hanging it all out there, but he just manages to stay in front. Trying to lap Justin. Seems to have distracted Edster a little bit. He's not quite as good in traffic. And that could be all Roy needed. He tags the inside of the final corner. Well, that must be frustrating. Catching is one thing, but passing is quite another. Now Mogius passes Steven, but they're on different strategies, remember. Speaking of strategies, here's Skoda. Oh, fighting Diablo after his speed in the pit strategy. Of course, it's unintentional, but it puts him out of sequence with everyone else. And he fights past Diablo, who he should be a fair bit faster than, to be honest. And Skoda now challenging Karst for 8th. He's made it through. Wow, what a great recovery he's making. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is still glowing red hot. Roy, it seems, may just have the edge on raw pace over Edster. Now he's going to attack him once more. They're right together. It looks like Roy aced the hairpin. Team radio from Sammy.
We're losing lots of time. We're losing time. Try and make a move. Try and make a move. What do you think I'm doing, Max?
What do you think I'm doing, says Sammy. I'll tell you what Edster's doing. He's making a move for the lead. And Roy trying to shoot back down at the inside. But Sammy going underneath takes Edster out of nowhere. Oh, he hits the last corner. And Sammy's frustration will have only increased now as Watman takes his last stop. Is he going to come out ahead of Mogius? I don't think he is. There's Mogius. So Watman loses 4th place to the BTS driver. There's one of the Force Indias coming in. It must be Karst because Justin's on the 1 stop. And here's both Ferraris who are all doing 2 stops. Steven followed by Diablo. I'm not sure why Karst has gone into pit bay too. Perhaps he feels he needs the extra 6 minutes of fuel, but it's going to cost him, I think. Riding on board with Edster after that surprise attack from Sammy. Oh, Roy tries to make his way past the back marker. Oh, and goes a bit wide. Hitting the wall, and Edster's back in the lead again. And here's Skoda again. Ooh, who we think is just battling ahead of Diablo. Although it's kind of hard to tell because of the penalty. We showed him passing him earlier. Oh, but here's Sammy trying to attack Roy. So now in these latter stages we're going to be treated to an excellent fight for 2nd place. Because it looks like Sammy may have gotten through. Roy surely not going to let his frustration get the better of him once again. He draws level with Sammy after a great run of the final corner. Just inches ahead. Sammy's going to counter that almost instantly, isn't he? He's going to be brave into this corner. One where he nearly flew off at the start of the race. He dives through at the hairpin. But Roy's on the tighter line. Sammy carrying a little bit extra speed though. Will it be enough? Going into that dangerous hairpin. They're still right within each other. Sammy gets through it faster, but Roy carrying a little more speed this time. It's just too close to call. Oh, and a big moment for Karst. Oh, it's a retirement for Karst. There's no way he's going to get that over. And that's desperately unlucky, but it looks like Sammy did stay ahead, although not for much longer. Oh, and another huge accident. That's Skoda again. Skoda in the wars again. It's Roy retakes Sammy. Oh, and that's unbelievable bad luck for Skoda, but at least he's managed to get back on track, so he should get some points. Cyrus taking his final pit stop, followed by the luckless Skoda. Meanwhile, we're hearing there's a bit of trouble down at Lotus because they don't think that Lorino is going to get to the end. At the pace Lorino is going at the moment, he is not going to get to the end before he runs out of fuel. Justin sweeps by him, lapping him, I think. But as others pit, Lorino is in deep trouble. Look, there's Doof Doof pitting. And now we are waiting at the line to congratulate Edster, who has won the Canadian Grand Prix. Roy is a few seconds down in second. Edster putting in a virtuoso drive at the second half of the race. Oh, and you can see how frustrated Sammy is. Finishing the race backwards. Oh, here's the battle for 4th place. So Modgius is going to take it from Watman. The Belgian just running out of laps to catch the Frenchman. And Lotus are on the radio to Lorino. They're begging him to come into the pits at the end of the lap. But will he do it? He's running in 8th place now, just a lap to go. And if he pits now, he'll almost surely finish in 10th. And now he's trying to unlap himself from Justin, who is just about to finish his last lap. And Justin takes a fine 6th for Force India at the end of a tough race for them after Karst's accident. Stephen will take 7th. Oh, and Lorino's run out! Lorino's run out! Oh, and that's heartbreaking for him. Lorino, not really one of the pace setters at this track, I think it's fair to say, so it was always going to be a gamble on the one stop. And there's Diablo passing him. He's going to take 8th. And I think Skoda's going to come through in the 9th. You see, you can't see anything, Lorino. The moment you run it, there's Skoda. The moment you run out of fuel, it's black screen and game over. Diablo takes 8th. A good drive by him. And Skoda should be somewhere behind, but Skoda will be a bit disappointed with that. But at least he will finish. Cyrus will be 10th. Doof Doof will be 11th. And Lorino will get 6 points for completing 90% distance. And there's the man who surprised a lot of people today. We all thought that championship lead of his was vulnerable, but he is in fact extended it after this race. Again, not the fastest drive from Edster, but he kept it clean, very mistake-free throughout. Roy and Sammy, well, they fought valiantly, but I don't think either of them will be satisfied with that. They have a lot of reason to be frowning on that podium, I'm afraid. It was another great performance by Modgius to beat that impressive newcomer Watman. Justin triumphing in his own little personal duel with Stephen, but Stephen crucially has got his teammate right behind him to get more points, whereas Justin's couldn't make the end. And then it's Skoda, Cyrus, Doof Doof, and the non-finishers, including Chris, who I'm still not sure what happened to him. So as I mentioned, Edster has increased his lead to 10 points over Roy, who has jumped 2 in front of Sammy. Then there is a huge gap to Modgius, who is in 4th place on 83 points. Justin is 5th on 76 points, 2 ahead of the absent Iron. Then it's Skoda on 63 points, who has Stephen close for company, 3 behind him. Nitrous in 9th place with 44 points, but just 2 behind him is Diablo, who's catching him up. Grant is 11th and still on 39 points. Cyrus still up there in 12th place, showing just how important it is to finish the races, even at the back. Then it's Watman, who's got 33 points in the space of just 2 rounds. Lorino is 14th, 622 is 15th, Doof Doof 16th, Karst down in 17th. Then the guys who've only made 1 race, Tom and Jake, Demish and Exam. To conclude, let's look at the teams. Doof Doof and Sammy have proved to be a winning combination at the moment. They are 18 points ahead of McLaren. McLaren in turn are 4 points ahead of Williams. Despite the absence of Iron, Caterham are still hanging in there thanks to Cyrus with 110 points. Then things get very juicy for 5th place, with Ferrari and Force India both on 102 points. Ferrari ahead by virtue of Stephen's 4th place at Road America. God awful round for Mercedes, you have to say. They got 1 point from Chris, who retired. But at least that's good news for Lotus, who have caught up 20 points within them. A memorable race, but of course the fight doesn't stop here. We'll see you next time at round 7 at Cerezo Autodromo, a track in Greece, on the 2nd of February this weekend. Thanks very much for watching, and take care.